Danganronpa.
Hello.
And welcome to Newlyweds. And as you know, we have spent the good part of how many years playing through the Danganronpa franchise. The next thing we've got to do in the franchise is watch the anime, the Danganronpa 3 anime that's going to finish the story. But we thought, might as well watch the Danganronpa 1 adaptation. And we have some thoughts, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an adaptation. It's very much an abridged version of the first game. Straightforward, that's it. There's nothing referring to the other bits of the franchise, which kind of weird considering it's a later adaptation. But still, so we thought, since we can't just do full reactions here on YouTube, we would do a review. But if you are someone that has been following and want to see our full reactions to the franchise, that's on our Patreon. So if you want to go support us on our Patreon, we're going to watch that there, and we're going to watch Danganronpa V3 over there. We're also going to do a review of that, of course, like we're doing with this. Let's go over, just go over this review slowly of this, because, I mean, I say slow, the game was slow, but the anime wasn't really slow, was it? It was 13 episodes. Do you feel like they covered everything?
I don't know. Maybe they did, but it was just, everything was so quick and wasn't quite fully in the order of the game, so that threw me off a little bit.
You got thrown off by the way they edited. The biggest example I can think of this is they edit the comics that are at the end of the trials, and they show those panels throughout the trial.
Yeah.
And also the investigations are like 2 minutes. The investigations that took you like the same length, like investigation is a whole section of the game. You have your free time events, you have like the daily life in the school, you have the investigation, and then the case. And the daily life and the case, like an episode each. Like a full episode is dedicated to that normally.
Yeah.
Or at least half an episode in some cases. And then the investigation, which is a third of the game, is cut down to like 2 minutes for each chapter, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then half the time, they really don't show it the way it is in the game. They just like, hey, this happened. Or they'll just leave it out, and then in the trial, Kyoko will just pull out a thing and be like, look what we found. And it'll be like, guys, where did that come from? Because of how quickly it goes, like, again, still on the narrative, you don't get the connections to the characters. Like, Sayaka goes from, oh, hi, I'm your friend, to, I tried to frame you for murder in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Instead of, 6 hours in the game?
Probably.
If you're going quickly, like, because of things being cut so short, the impact is lessened. But I imagine that's just, maybe they could have done better with a higher episode count. But there's just a lot of the issues come from adapting a visual novel game to an anime.
Yeah.
Because visual novels have so much length. It's the same as adapting a normal novel to a movie or something. Like, you have to cut things. The issue is Danganronpa as a franchise is powered by the fandom and people's connections to these characters. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint why this was made the way it was, because if you're new coming to the franchise, which would most likely be like, oh, you've seen some things on social media and you want to watch more, you want to see what it's about, but you don't want to play a 60-hour game, and you watch the anime and then you're like, why are people invested in these characters? Because there's no reason to be invested in these characters. They stay around for 10 minutes and they die. Like, Mondo had so much character development in the game.
Yeah, you really did.
Of like, here's my brother's backstory, here's why I want to be a man, here's my inspiration, here's my connection to 2 other main characters.
Oh, no, they did bring up his brother, but
It went by in 2 minutes.
like it was very fast.
But that's what I mean. No, they brought up his brother after Mondo had been put on trial.
Yeah.
But there was hints throughout the story. You know what I mean? If you'd done free time events like that, you had his interactions with Chihiro and interactions with Taka, and you had a whole few hours of building up. Mondo's a great guy. He has some backbone, and then but he still has these issues, and that's why he broke.
Yeah.
And in this, it's just okay, he's just gonna snap like that in 2 seconds. There's none of the build up because you don't know the character. So when here it's it really changes the context, so it changes how you're reading it. The anime Mondo just kind of snaps.
Yeah.
The game Mondo has this very slow burn of inter-character relationships and why he does the things that he does, and that just goes for the entire cast besides the survivors. But then it does have the same issue as Kyoko, Makoto, and Byaku and Jill/Toko get the most screen
them
time.
Changing the names around too.
Oh right, yeah, that's
and changing Jill to Show.
Well, not changing it from Show. The adaptation is the localizers for the game localized things. The anime just translated things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because Sho, for example, is from what I can tell, a gender-neutral name, and everyone was like, oh, genocide of Sho. It must be a guy, because Sho is a guy's name. But also, it's a woman's name. So that's the whole twist of it being a woman, where they localize that to Jack and Jill
Right.
to kind of have that same vibe, but whilst making it more localized, I guess, instead of, but you know, like, show still works if you understand that, like, if you're Japanese, you understand that naming. Hell, they could have called her Ashley. It would have worked.
Yeah.
They could have called it Ashley. Oh, Ashley, you know, Ashley's a male name. Because there's, you know what I mean? Or any kind of gender-neutral Western name.
Right.
The other big example of that is calling them Ultimates versus calling them the super high school level blank. From that, I guess we'll go to, from localization to dubbing. And you had a major issue with the dubbing within, like, the first episode. 5 minutes in, you had it.
Yeah. The stupid laugh. The stupid laugh that Monokuma was doing. Well,
Nya 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 is not the same as poo hoo hoo.
no. What
Like-
the hell?
Like, that laugh.
Why did they do that?
Why would you change the laugh?
His accent was more like,
He's
was
more-
it Kirokuma?
Yeah,
Am I
he's
thinking the
more
right-
got, like, gangster
More
vibe.
like Kirokuma.
He's got more of a gravel in his voice, this voice actor.
Yeah.
They changed voice actors.
But then also
between
the
the game
laugh.
and the anime.
There was like no poo-hoos. Or if there was any poo-hoos, it was maybe one
Yeah.
in the whole anime.
Like-
And like that's like a signature, or at least is,
In the game, at least.
for me,
We-
that's a signature.
Well, we've gone through 3
thing
games.
for Monokuma.
Like, that's the thing. We're watching this after going through 3 games. And there's a lot of things that are kind of ingrained. Like, this is how Makoto acts and sounds. This is how Byakuya acts and sounds. This is how...
Yeah.
And this is how Monokuma acts and sounds. And, like, when Monokuma has something like a signature as a laugh, that's like the poo hoo hoo, and he's more does like, hey, he does more like a hey yeah in
yeah. I
like-
know, it was a weird one.
it's
It was
more of a
weird laugh.
different laugh. Like it's a very different vibe from Monokuma alone. It's just he's a bit more sinister, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In the other games, he can come across as like a harmless mascot that's been twisted. With this, it just sounds like a criminal
Mm-hmm.
and sounds like a bad guy. There's no like I guess the nuance that the game version has, where it's like, oh, this is a mascot, but also this guy's really creepy and villainous. In this one, it's like, oh, this guy's a villain. He's a mastermind. He's trying to get these people to kill each other. There's none of the layers to it.
Yeah.
But I think Monokuma is the only kind of voice cast that you have a major issue with. I think the rest of the voice cast and the changes, like Mondo's new voice actor. Mondo has a new voice actor.
Yeah,
He did good.
Mondo's was not bad, and then oh god, what's his name? The surfer dude.
Oh, Hero. Yeah,
Hero.
you like
Hero's-
Hero's voice. Yeah,
I thought that
again,
suited him.
'cause I think some are the same and some are different. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
And then Jill or Sho had
Yeah,
had
that
a-
one worked.
had a different voice, but again, it worked, and it wasn't like Monokuma took us out of it. The others were, oh, that's different, but okay, we'll get to it. Monokuma, for like the first 3 odd episodes, I think, we were just like, this doesn't sound like Monokuma. This is really taking us out of it a little bit. But then I think we eventually got used to it, and there is some quirks and differences to this Monokuma performance that works. But also, I do think it's helped by the animation. Like, they do well to fill the descriptive pieces of text with animation, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because the game is so heavily reliant on text to do most of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
But in this, you get to see, like, you get to hear narration while things are going on at the same time. So they get to cover, that's how they do it as a trick to kind of cover a bit more distance than if it was just we're doing this and then we're doing this, like, in an order. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by overlaying some of the information, by, like, showing stuff in the background and while doing narration, they can do that. And they can show, like, other background character pieces. Like, yes, we've lost out on a bit of the character development from the runtime, but you're getting to see, like, characters interacting in the background. Like, you're getting Hina and Sakura doing stuff in the background the entire show. So I think that case where Sakura's death is a bit more impactful than some of the others, because you've seen her and Hina in the background, always hanging out, always doing things together. And also, not to mention, I think they have a lot of fun with Monokuma, with the animation, you know what I mean, with him dancing and stuff.
Yeah, that I did actually like that.
Like, the animation
especially
on
in
Monokuma.
the whatever this new song is, and the opening theme.
The opening, yes.
And the
opening,
dancing.
music. Like, most of the music is from the series.
Oh yeah.
But, like, this is just music that's added in. They just wrapped over the theme, and I think it works. And I think most of the stuff works. I think it could be improved upon, but most full it works. And I think this is a nice... This doesn't work as an entry point to the franchise, if you've seen it. And it doesn't work fully as an adaptation. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you want to... What it does work as, and I think is... I guess the point is, this is very good for what we're doing, where we've played 3 games in a row now. And the last time we played the first game was years ago.
Yeah.
Because it has took us years to get through all these games. And now we're about to watch the grand finale to the entire franchise and then go on to V3. So to have go back and have a little refresher of some of the characters that, you know what I mean? Of the first game's story, because like the second game's a bit more fresh with us because, you know what I mean? It wasn't too long ago that we finished it and got through Ultra Despair Girls. But the first game is so far away that I kind of forget some of the stuff that happens.
And I always forget things.
I know. So you was like, wait, I'm like, yeah, that happened.
It's like,
that happened
oh,
in the
brand
show.
new.
But yeah, and then, so like the game, the anime kind of rushes a lot through the game, and it rushes a lot of the details. A lot of the details get lost, or have to not be covered, or they get covered in the trial instead. Or instead of Makoto, or the player, going around to every room on a new floor, and then catching up with all the characters that was there, they do it where they just kind of show a montage of, well, Byakuya went to this room, and Makoto went to this room, and Hiro went to this room, and now they all catch up and talk about it, which they did in the game, but they did that after the player went to all the rooms and met all the characters individually in those rooms. So it's a bit of a difference in timeline. It doesn't really affect anything, and they kind of can that way get all that information through, which would have took us, like, in the game 2 hours to get through a floor or something, slowly, so they can then cover that in 5 minutes, which is fine. The finale is a bit longer, like the grand finale of here's the final case, and here's the mastermind, and it's Junko, and then the animators went ham, clearly.
Well, went ham on Junko.
Oh yeah, like to have they must have had such fun with Monokuma and Junko to do it. Like, I think the finale is great. I think the finale animated is a really good, like, I think the finale animated is at points better than the game's version of the finale. Because they're cutting out a lot of the fluff, because the games do get repetitive with the same bit of let's have a flashback. Hey, you did this 2 hours ago, time to have a flashback because you're going to forget 2 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
So but again, because of this being quicker, they're like, you don't need to have the flashback, let's just go. And so it kind of works better with the formatting of the finale, which makes me think if they would have extended the anime just a teensy bit and formatted the same way they did the finale episodes for the entire series, could have been amazing. It wasn't, but I still think it was good.
Yeah.
And I think it ended good. And speaking of the animators on the finale, I think the animators did good going between, like, this new animation style that's trying to emulate the key art from the games, while still being simple enough that it can animate, you know? Because you've got to cut out them details for animation. And then they did good at the, what I just called the After Effects shots that was at it, all the executions and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
With that is just like After Effects animation, like, literally. So, like, they clearly went back and, like, reused the referenced heavily the game version, because sometimes I'm like, is this just straight from the game or not? And then the final surprise that got me was Usami just showing up. Again, could that be?
Don't be late for your first day of
You
school,
motherfucker!
boys and girls.
Why are you here? Why are you here?
Oh, yeah.
At the very end of the last episode, I go, hey, boys and girls, come around. I'm like, what the, like, I think my reaction said it all.
Next time.
Like, genuinely, I was not
But
expecting it.
she was in the
She wasn't in the game franchise till 2.
yeah, but no, she was at the hold on, I'm trying to think.
What?
What was the last game that we played?
Ultra Despair Girls. She wasn't in that at all.
But she was at the end.
Was she? Are you sure?
You remember there was like artwork on the building or something?
Oh, yeah. There was
Over.
yeah, I get exactly what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
she had like a cameo moment.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But it wasn't the character. It was like
No.
the
It
logo
was
of the
just
character.
yeah.
But like here or something, which I'm like, so did they plan on animating 2 but never got around to it? Because there's just, it feels weird for me for them to do 2 and then like do 1, skip 2, and then just do an exclusive anime for the ending without it being a game. It's a bit weird. Yeah, overall, like, this anime it's a treat for Danganronpa fans that already exist, and a nice refresher to, like, oh yeah, let's go back, relive this in a different format. It's definitely not for new people coming to the franchise, because I feel like you would get lost following the anime if you hadn't played the game, or you hadn't got some knowledge of the game. So I don't think it's for new people to the franchise, but also I don't think it's very good for existing fans of the franchise,
Right.
because it just covers the same narrative. There's no point in watching it other than you're a fan that wants to consume all of it. And if that's you, then great, and it works for that. And I think it's nice, and it's nice to hear different performances in that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I liked it, but that's all I can say about it. I can't go, oh yeah, this is a must watch. I'm like, yeah, it was okay. I'm hoping Danganronpa 3, the anime, does a better job, and we'll hopefully have a review for that soon. We've got to start watching that. Like, we haven't watched it yet as of recording this review, but we'll probably have that watch along for that on the Patreon as well, and a review for that in the coming future. And then we're going to start on V3, and then we're going to be back into the normal swing of things.
Yippee.
So until then, any closing words from you?
You guys are great and awesome. And
I mean about the show.
Okay.
The show. The SHOW, not the character show.
Not really that I can think of, aside from just, I mean, my favorite bits obviously was the last episode.
Because it
and
ended.
Junko.
Because it ended, or because of Junko?
No, because of Junko.
Yeah, no, it was definitely.
And all of
fun.
her different personalities.
Yeah, I think they
And I think they did a good job at showing those. So, but yeah.
I'm just hoping we get more of it in V3. Like, again, I am half expecting June to come back for V3. No spoilers.
Yeah.
But I'm half expecting her to come back because she's come back in every damn installment of this franchise.
Yeah.
And I'm very much enjoying this franchise. So, I guess a special thanks for those that have been along for this ride of us watching the franchise. And it feels like we're kind of coming to a close with a lot of it because of us coming up to watching Danganronpa 3.
Yeah.
And reviewing that, because that feels like a kind of stopping point for the franchise before the rest of the franchise, if
Yeah.
that makes it. It's the Avengers Endgame before the Spider-Man No Way Home. That's kind of what it feels. I hate to do that comparison, but that's what it feels like. Danganronpa 3 is going to be the Infinity War Endgame, and that V3 and the Summer Game or whatever it's called is Danganronpa S, I think, is going to be like the post Endgame stuff. You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like taking it a bit of a different direction and kind of a soft reboot, but not really a reboot kind of thing. Anyway, yeah, thanks. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed this review, and if you enjoyed this stuff on the Patreon, and yeah, if you do, let us know and we can keep doing it. And if not, we're probably still going to keep doing it because we enjoyed doing this. Anyway, bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Can't believe it's not butter. What?
Mondo butter.
I can't believe it's not Mondo butter. Mondo margarine.
Oh, God.